Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. A big thank you to Tako for sponsoring this video. As is always the case with this video, we'll first of all have a look at any of the games that didn't make last week's video for whatever reason, before delving into the games that are releasing this week, and we'll be going from the dates of the 1st of May up until the 7th. So what's coming out this week? Well, let's find out. A quick look then at some of the games that are already out but weren't in last week's video, and we'll start with a game called Effie. This has been out on Steam for a little while and is a 3D action adventure game which it says combines the classic elements of the genre such as combat, platforming and puzzles with the exploration of an expanded world. You play as a young man who is on a quest to recover his youth from a witch that cursed him with premature old age. It promises to evoke the feelings of old school 3D action adventure games, but it says with things such as modern graphics, controls and gameplay. It's received fairly decent scores elsewhere from what I can see and is selling for £17.99, although there is 15% off of that price, but that may be down to owning some of the publisher's other games. You'll have to look on the eShop itself for full details, but that sale does last up until the 9th of May. Also out then is a game called Crime Opera: The Butterfly Effect. This appears to be a visual novel, but it says here that you can either read it as you would a traditional book, or you can play it where you make the choices that have some sort of impact on the story. You see the story through the eyes of the children of a mafia boss. There are 24 chapters to get through, and as I said, you can have the choices you make impact the story. It's selling for £8.99, but there is 20% off of that price up until the 18th of May.
A big thanks to Tako for sponsoring this episode. What exactly is Tako? Well, essentially, what it allows you to do is cut out the middleman. When you're using your phone to browse the internet and use different sites, the data that you have stored on servers is often sold to third parties. What you can do here is connect your accounts, so social, Amazon, Netflix, to Tako, and it will then show you the data that those services hold on you, and you get to monetize it rather than Netflix or Amazon or whoever it is. So it cuts out the corporations, which in my opinion is absolutely brilliant. It's quite a new startup, so the more people that join it, the more power essentially those users are going to have over their own data. And it puts it into perspective when you think that the data, even in 2020, that companies sold on yourselves, myself, and pretty much every internet user was worth $380 billion. So hit up that link in the description, check it out for yourselves, that will help you sign up and join the revolution. Thanks to Tako for sponsoring this episode.
And finally, for the games that are already out, we have Legend of Keepers. This describes itself as a mix between dungeon management and roguelite. It says you have been hired as a dungeon master by the dungeons company and your job is simple. It is to protect their dungeons. You do so by hiring monsters, managing employees, as well as your stock of traps in an attempt to crush the so-called heroes. You will check the stats and resistances of the heroes, then place the best traps and monsters to defeat them. This is selling for £16.50, but again does have 10% off of that price up until the 13th of May, and we have actually already reviewed this one and thought very highly of it, and the link to that review will be in the top pinned comment. Moving on to this week's games then, and the first one is called The Colonists. This describes itself as a relaxing city building game with adorable robots. You'll be harvesting resources, setting up production, discovering new lands and researching technologies. You do all this whilst advancing through 3 different ages, and you'll be building an infrastructure for your colony by constructing road, boat and train transport systems. There are, it says, a series of individual campaign missions. You can play on randomly generated maps, compete on player designed creations, or just play in a free play sandbox mode. This comes out on the 4th and sells for £19.99, although it will have 10% discount on that up until launch. Next then we have Ultimate Custom Night, which is a survival horror game from the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. This has been out on Windows for a little while and has also had a port to iOS and Android, and as far as I understand, the original plan was for this to be DLC to the game Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, which is already on the Switch, and the sequel to this game is Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, which is also on the Switch, so they've released them in quite a strange order. I've played a few of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, including the aforementioned Help Wanted, but I haven't played this one. But as far as I understand, this one allows you to select from a number of characters from the universe, choosing their difficulty and then jumping into your own custom game. As well as side doors and vents to manage, you'll also have to master other tools such as the heater, air conditioning, a power generator and more. Perhaps any fans of the series can let us know if this is a good one to start with. There are so many of these games on the Switch now, it can be quite daunting for new players. But regardless of that, this one sells for £6.29 and comes out on the 4th. Next, coming out on the 5th, we have Save Me Mr. Tako Definitive Edition. Now, the original version of this game is actually already on the Switch. It's a game that I own, and it's a very fun but difficult platformer with a Game Boy aesthetic. You play as an octopus called Mr. Tako and must make your way across 6 worlds containing more than 50 levels. There are different hats to gain which give you a variety of abilities, and you can also use your ink move to defeat enemies. As far as I remember, you could also change the colour palette like you could on a Super Game Boy, which was a nice touch. Now, according to the blurb, this definitive edition adds a new difficulty mode and some rebalancing. There is also a hint system and some other quality of life improvements. It's selling for £11.69, which is about the same price actually as the original game. I don't know whether people that own the original will get these little bits as an update. It would be nice if they did. I'll have to check that actually on my Switch, see if my game updates. But either way, this was a game that I found quite fun. I bought it on sale for a few pound. I don't think I'd pay £11 odd for it. But if you are interested, as I said, it comes out on the 5th. Also on the 5th, you have a game called Dull Grey. This is a visual novel selling for £4.49, although it does have 20% off of that price up until launch. It tells a story about free will and a search for happiness. It appears to be based around the idea of what the son in the story will be when he grows up, and it says it uses an unusual mechanic of a single choice leading to different game endings, so it'll be quite interesting to see how that works. Its visual style is inspired by Soviet graphics of the 20s, so says the blurb, and draws on the work of Dostoevsky as well as Tarkovsky's movies. The next game is called CyberHive. This is a strategic space travel simulator with a non-linear story and an anime visual style. It says you must survive, gather resources, expand your crew and improve your starship, paving the way through outer space full of hostile races. It says that everyone you meet will have an influence on the outcome and your path will consist of difficult choices. You will be upgrading your ship as your crew increases, and there are branching plots and world exploration. It sells for £7.39 and has been out on Steam for about 6 months now, and from the few reviews I just saw on there, the reception to it seems to have been fairly mixed. And then we have Football Drama, which sells for £8.99, although it does have 10% off of that price up until launch. It says here there is a story behind every goal. You are the manager and you will choose your own narrative, survive the drama and play turn-based football matches via tactical cards and hard choices. You take control of the fictional Colchester FC, who are owned by billionaire Boris Aluminovic. I wonder who that's taking the mick out of. It says chances of you making it through the season are slim. Corruption, crime, drugs and romance are all paths that you may take for better or worse. Bloody hell, and I thought Tottenham's season was bad. It has an interactive narrative with meaningful game-changing choices, turn-based match play with live-action animations, 18 dramatic weeks of procedural championship where you can be fired at any time, and deck-building mechanics. This actually sounds like a lot of fun. I love my football, as I've said many times on this channel, and anything with a manager edge always gets my attention, and this in particular sounds like a lost season of a show called Dream Team that used to be on Sky 1. Let me know if you remember that show, I used to love it. I'd actually be quite up for this one. Even the mention of deck building, something I'm not always keen on, hasn't actually deterred me. And then we have Raiden IV, the Mikado remix. Now at the time of doing the audio for this video, this is only showing on the US eShop. If that has changed since, then prices for the other regions will be down at the bottom of your screen. The Raiden games are fantastic shoot 'em ups, and this joins Raiden V incoming to the Switch. This one can be played with 1 or 2 players locally, has new remixed background music produced by Game Center Mikado, which is exclusive to the Switch, and you can switch between this new music or the original at will. It also says it supports vertical screenplay, so anyone with a flip grip will be in for a good time, and you can post your scores to the global leaderboards. It's selling for $29.99 but does have 10% off that price up until just before launch. And the final game for this week then, we have Skate City. This sells for £11.69 but does have 31% off of that price up until the 13th of May. It says you will coast through 3 iconic locations based off of real world skate spots in Los Angeles, Oslo and Barcelona. You will be pulling off realistic tricks with hundreds of combinations available, including flip tricks, grabs, grinds, spins and manuals. There are over 100 challenges to try, or you can just ride in endless mode. You have a number of ways in which you can customize your skater, and you can capture and share your best runs with an in-game recording tool, being able to zoom in, spin the camera and slow things down to really highlight your best tricks. This sounds quite fun actually, although I haven't been on a skateboard since I was about 8 years old, but if you are interested, it comes out on the 6th of May. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Not an amazing week, but a couple of games in there that are quite interesting. The Raiden games are fantastic, the football one looks pretty decent. You'll have to let me know if there are any other games coming out that interest you. Another big thank you to MyTiki for sponsoring this video. Please do check out the link in the top pinned comment in order to access their service. Thank you to our Patreons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, stay safe of course, and until next time, happy gaming.